Gerard John Schaefer Jr. was born March 26, 1946 in Neenah, Wisconsin, United States. Schaefer and his family eventually settled permanently in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, in 1960. Schaefer married in December 1968 and later worked as a teacher, but the couple split on May 2, 1970, due to Schaefer's violent sex-crazed behavior. Schaefer's teaching career was also ended 2 weeks later, when he was sacked for being arrogant towards colleagues, teachers, and failing to learn the discipline he taught. Furthermore, in September 1971, Schaefer, 25, worked as a Wilton Manors patrol police officer in Wilton Manors, the metropolitan Miami area, Broward County, Florida, where previously, in January, he married Teresa Dean, 19 years old, a secretary. However, Schaefer was again fired from the Wilton Minors Police Department because of his terrible behavior, who enjoys disturbing female drivers. After being fired on June 23, 1972, Schaefer was fortunate to be rehired in the police force and served as a deputy in the Martin County, Florida Sheriff's Department, after falsifying a letter of recommendation from the Wilton Manors Police Department to support his application. On July 21, 1972, Schaefer kidnapped Nancy Ellen Trotter, 18, and Paula Sue Wells, 17. They were tied to a tree in a forest and their mouths were gagged. Then their necks were tied in position like someone is to be hanged. When Schaefer received a call and had to return to the office immediately, they managed to escape. To overcome this, Schaefer claimed to his superior, Sheriff Robert Crowder, that he had simply overreacted to the girls in order to create the impression that asking for a ride in a stranger's vehicle was perilous. When Sheriff Crowder and Lieutenant Melvin Waldron discovered the kidnapped girls on the side of the road in poor condition, they brought them to the station and were astonished by their narrative. Despite Schaefer's many excuses, his superiors did not believe him, so he was fired and arrested. However, 2 weeks later, he was released on bail. While awaiting trial in December 1972, Schaefer worked menial jobs at Quick Check. On September 27, 1972, Schaefer kidnapped 2 girls again, Susan Carol Place, 17, and Georgia Marie Jessup, 16, whom he met at an adult education session in Fort Lauderdale. Many murders occurred before Schaefer's trial between September 1972 and January 1973 that allegedly implicated him. In the December 22, 1972, Trotter and Wells kidnapping trial, Schaefer was sentenced to 1 year in prison. On April 1, 1973, the bodies of Place and Jessup were found in shallow graves among trees in Oak Hammock Park, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Autopsies also indicated that they had been badly beaten and shot. Because the deaths of Place and Jessup were similar to the Trotter and Wells kidnappings, a search warrant was issued for Schaefer. On May 12, 1973, the search findings yielded sufficient evidence to indict Schaefer for the deaths of Place and Jessup, as well as other unsolved murders between 1969 and 1973. On May 18, 1973, Schaefer was charged with first-degree murder in Place and Jessup's killings. A psychiatric examination showed that Schaefer suffered from paranoia, psychosis, and acute sexual deviancy, but he remained mentally competent to stand trial. He was found guilty on September 26, 1973, and sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences on September 27. His appeal was refused in 1974, while other murders were being investigated. On December 3, 1995, Schaefer was stabbed to death in his cell over 40 times in the face, head, neck, and body, with his throat also being slit, his right eye crushed, and several ribs broken. There is no consensus on when or where Schaefer began killing. Although in prison he made several claims but also denied them.